So in today's video, we'll be talking about the Pyromancer. Now this is one of 4 classes available in the new game, Outriders. Now this game comes out on April 1st, but don't worry, we actually get a demo on February 25th. And now that demo is free to play, and all of your progression will carry over to the main game. So what is this class? What is the Pyromancer? Well, let's find out now.
As Pyromancers, we manipulate explosive volcanic energy and devastating walls of flames.
Now when they first showcased this class, the Pyromancer, I thought in my head, who would this class be best for? Well, it's for players who like taking on lots of enemies and setting them on fire. But it doesn't just stop there. This class tends to fight enemies at mid-range, and that's where it excels in. Now, they don't have the movement ability to get in and out of combat like some of the other classes, but a lot of their abilities are area effect based, which allows you to control the battlefield, allowing you to line them up and then light them up. Now, the Pyromancer has 3 core fundamentals that outline their powers. Number 1 being explosive, number 2 being immobilized, and number 3 ignite. Now one thing you should keep in mind with this class is the Pyromancer is focused around thermal and fire based effects, which you will notice in the class melee attacks. Your standard melee attack will deal fire damage to anyone it hits, while also inflicting extra damage as well. And don't worry, the fun doesn't just stop there. Now what do you say if we get injured? Well, there is healing. Now, even the best players get injured from time to time, and knowing how to heal with this class will keep you surviving. As we know in this game, there is no healing or quick fixes as you would see in other games. You need to play aggressive with the Pyromancer to restore HP. To heal with the Pyromancer, you will recover health whenever enemies marked by your skills are killed, hence why you need to play really aggressive to survive. You will know when an enemy is marked when they have the little skull and the little plus items. Now all of your skills can mark an enemy, and remember, the more enemies you mark, the greater heal you will have. Now in Outriders, remember each class has 8 powers in total, starting with a single power, and as you level up, you will unlock more powers. Many of the powers from the Pyromancer inflict a status effect called burning, causing some nice damage over time. Not only does it cause damage, but it also momentarily stuns the enemy. Now this could also be used to disrupt other enemies. Now I know you want to know more, so let's take a closer look at 4 of the Pyromancer abilities. 4 different powers, starting with the thermal bomb. Now the thermal bomb will set an enemy ablaze, dealing additional damage to them over time. If an enemy dies under the effect of the thermal bomb, they will rise into the air and explodes, causing an area effect damage to a large radius. Now you pair this up with a large group of enemies and you could end up wiping out all of them. The really cool thing about this is you don't have to be the one landing the killing blow either. You can mark them and then allow your teammates to take them out, and that will still trigger the thermal bomb. Working as a team is always better than working solo. The next power we're going to be talking about is the Ash Blast. This will apply a status effect of ash to all enemies in a large radius. Now ash prevents all affected targets from doing anything and freezes them in place for a few seconds. This is amazing for crowd control, suffocating them in a cloud of dust. Now you ask, how can you actually use this in game? Well, don't worry, we have a few examples. So we know that Ash Blast keeps enemies from moving for a short amount of time, right? Well, what about if you keep them from moving, allowing your teammates to use an area effect ability, causing damage to those enemies? Or what about lining these enemies up, allowing you to take headshots, causing mass damage? There's a lot of different things you can use this for on the offensive side, but it's also great for the defense. Say you're in a sticky situation, you have a lot of enemies, you need some valuable time to get away. The Ash Blast is great for that, giving you time to rethink your strategy on how to attack these enemies and giving you that split second to take them out. You thought this was over? We have power number 3, the Heatwave. The Heatwave, this is one of the earliest powers you will unlock in the Pyromancer class. Now we know that we like fighting at that medium to long range distance with this class. And that's what this Heatwave ability is great for. It's great for keeping those enemies at that medium range and also taking out those rushers when they decide to rush you. And that's not all Heatwave does. Heatwave has a secondary effect that will do damage over time to all effective enemies, which also may give you a nice bit of healing that could really increase depending on how many enemies are burning. And finally, power number 4, Overheat. Overheat only does a small amount of damage to enemies in a large radius, but it also does extra damage to enemies that are already burning, making it a great follow-up skill. Now, using this skill with other skills can set yourself up for some nice damage and some amazing healing. This is what you would like to call a great supportive talent. Now, there are 4 more powers that we won't be talking about in this video, but don't worry, you guys will find out soon enough on February 25th. Now, the Pyromancer only gets stronger when combining powers together. Using powers in combination is where Outriders truly shines, no matter if you're using this class or any of the other 3 classes in Outriders. Now, altering your class to play the way you want him or her to play is what Outriders is all about. The skill tree does just that. Class points are acquired by leveling up, but you won't be able to fill up the entire class tree. But don't worry, you will be able to respec it whenever you want. There are 3 branches for the Pyromancer: the Ashbreaker, the Firestorm, and the Tempest. Now, one thing you need to remember is each branch has a major and minor focus that will either increase your damage or your survivability. This is where you really need to choose wisely. Now, if we take a look at the Ashbreak branch, this will provide bonuses when dealing damage against marked enemies. The Firestorm branch is there to maximize damage from your skills. So if you want to maximize that skill damage, the Firestorm branch is where you want to spec into. And then lastly, we have the Tempest branch. Now, this helps you fill more of a tank role, allowing you to reach max health and reduce incoming damage from certain sources. One cool ability that you can unlock in the Tempest branch is the automatic revival upon death, which is very, very cool. And then it even gets better. Remember, your weapons, your gear can all affect how strong your Pyromancer can be. Now, there are certain mods that will improve those skills that you unlock in your skill tree. So be on the lookout for those weapons, those gear items that do supplement your Pyromancer and the class that you choose. Now, don't worry, we will be taking a look at the next 3 classes later this week. Until then, guys, make sure if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so when I release the next video, you guys get notified. But until then, Nothing But Skills is out.